The UFL Gambling Podcast Week 6 preview and picks and DFS episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, play their fantasy pickup for a chance to win 100 times the amount of money you can enter in UFL action or NBA, MLB, MMA, NHL, golf, and much, much more. Sign up today at UnderdogFantasy.com using the promo code TCESGPN. You get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by NYRA Bets. Yes, sign up today for a $25 free bet and a $200 deposit bonus with the promo code SGPN25. Just go to nyrabets.com /SGPN25. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, a.k.a. Shark Dog, listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. This is America, Jack. You know how to play high-dose football? I don't get it.
Being played in the United States Football League.
Oh my God! Quarterback is toast.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a great deal more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
That is football.
I'm like, spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game. And now it is time for our USFL report.
And welcome back to the UFL Gambling Podcast. Yes, week 6 preview and picks and DFS. Folks, hop on over to YouTube, youtube.com /@UFL Gambling Pod. You can watch this show. You can watch it all. And if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Week 6 is here, folks. Playoffs are 95% figured out, but we got one big game. I think. No, gotta love the league. We got football in the spring. You gotta be happy. All right? You gotta be happy somewhat. Hashtag UFL Jeff sucks. I am joined by my co-host. He's the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. They call him the man in the box, a.k.a. the bet detective. Give it up for CJ Sullivan. How you doing, buddy?
Perfect. Everything's running smooth as can be on all cylinders. What a ready to tackle this weekend. We are also hitting the mid-season bumps here a little bit, but just like the UFL, we're going to pull it together and somehow survive another week in existence.
Yeah. Look, I have so many futures. I just hope they end the season. We are also joined by the third man in the booth, the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Get out there. Subscribe to that. They call him J Mark, a.k.a. Justin. Mark, how you doing, brother?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay.
We're on live TV right now.
Are we? Because it said it lost connection to my mic, so I wasn't sure.
Oh.
Clearly, my computer is struggling today. You guys can blame me. That's fine. Yeah, it's going well. I'm looking forward to. It's interesting. We have the 4 probably considered best teams against the 4 worst teams this week. So, but it's UFL, so there's bound to be some variance, right?
Sure. Look, I want to address. I don't have the screen name up, but actually, let me see if I can pull up here. But I couldn't help but notice as I logged in to our YouTube account. we had someone calling me out for saying I'm always pushing the narrative that the USFL was better. I just want to say I don't really care that much, but I just observations. It's observations. And look, my observations are backed up with fucking stats because check this out. I was just looking. It's hard to tell because the USFL season from a year ago ended, but what you can look at is yards per game. And that average, the Stars were the worst rushing team in the USFL a year ago at 77 yards per game. That would chart. That's better than half the league. Half the league. Yes, the Roughnecks average 51 yards a game. The Showboats 54 yards a game. All right, the Renegades, they would chart at number five, and really number 4. They would chart at number 4. So, man, that's my fucking point. When you watch the game, you just saw line of scrimmage. To me, the line of scrimmage, whether it was pass protection or whether it was running the ball, I thought was a lot stronger a year ago than what it is today. Do those stats surprise you, CJ?
Well, with everything you said right there, no, the statistics do not surprise me. But you are wrong about one thing that you said there, and I will vehemently argue against and push back on this, and that is you do care, sir. You start off with you don't care about. No, that's the exact opposite. You care. That's why you bring it. That's why you bring the passion every week, and you do bring it on the USFL because you like to see running the football. You like to see man on football.
And you're not the only one.
Yeah. You're not the only one. Guess who echoed your exact same sentiments? Our guy, Marcus Thompson, running back for Houston. He tweeted out the exact same thing you said. Hey, how about you give me the goddamn football and we run it? How's that work? Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. How about right now the sack total is higher too. That's what I'm saying. Like it's wherever you look. I care a little bit, but I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like I'm not losing sleep over this. You know what I mean? Like
that's
to me, it's evident. It's evident here. J Mark, are you surprised by this?
Well, I'm surprised that CJ used an alias to put that comment in there. He was the one that said you keep pushing the narrative. No. No, I mean, we've talked about it all year that you look at the offensive lines and they're not good. There are maybe 2-3 teams that have it figured out. Nobody seems to be able to run the ball. So the stats like that don't surprise me at all.
Well, and even more surprising is Adrian Martinez is the league's leading rusher, and he's only started 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of pathetic, man. In a way, like you're like, what? How's that even possible? And he's substantially better than the next leading rusher. So I don't know. I don't know how, like you said, like it's got to be coaching. It's got to be coaching to me. It's got to be coaching because if the same fucking players are in there, I don't understand why it would be this big of a difference. But anyway,
well, maybe they're getting directives from above. I mean, the Rock needs ratings. He's using camera crews from his movies. I mean, he's in like, he's late.
Yeah.
He's late to productions. He's doing all kinds of things, and he's getting dragged all over the place. But he's doing it for the UFL, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Look, trying to pass the ball more, but you got to have guys to block to pass the ball more. Sacks are at a higher level thus far than it was a year ago is my point. Anyway, let's jump into the madness. Saturday, we thankfully we don't have 2 games on at the same time. We have the Birmingham Stallions heading to the Liberty Bowl.
What book are we using? J Mark brought it up earlier. DK's got at 11. Yep. All right. That's
Birmingham's laying 11.5. I can only make the assumption that Adrian Martinez will be not playing. The league's best player will be sitting on the bench. I thought about potentially taking the Showboats, but then I thought about that Showboats offensive line behind this awesome defensive line. I'll lay the 11.5, and I might have already thrown several hundreds of dollars on this game. CJ, what are you doing here?
Wow. All right, I have to adjust my numbers now. I was looking at Bet Online. They have this at 13.5, by the way. But yeah, I'm looking at DraftKings. You're right. I already took them at Bet Online plus 13.5. I'm liking Memphis here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to sprinkle a little on the money line at plus 550. Matt, this is a I think this is kind of a a middling sleepy week. 4 bad matchups, a lot of big numbers, like J Mark said, the 4 best teams versus the 4 worst teams. But these 4 worst teams, they're in desperation mode, and these great teams, they're kind of in coasting mode at this point, and they're coming off big wins. Not to foreshadow the.
Well, there's no Martinez.
The rest of my slate. Yeah, it's Matt Corral week, right?
Last time it was Corral week, Golden Corral week. You had just a 1-point win. Right. So maybe there's something to it. J Mark, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably follow the narrative too that next week is the big game, right? Stallions versus.
That's what I mean. It's a sandwich. This is a look ahead.
Look ahead spot, but
what the hell happened?
I don't know. CJ's gone.
But
great start here. The Panthers just beat the Showboats 35-18. You can't tell me that the Stallions won't be able to get this done, whether it's Matt Corral or Adrian Martinez. They're going to beat them by more than 35-18. So I'm all over Stallions. I'll take these points. That's fine.
Yeah. And I would strongly push back against Sam in the chat saying Adrian Martinez is not the league's best player. It's the coaching.
I'll push back against Double B, who says CJ smoking crack. How about that?
What do you mean it's the coaching? Like Alex Legault went to he's in the NFL.
I don't know if you guys saw the clip. I don't remember what defender it was, but after he pushed Martinez out of bounds, he said, "Boy, you're fast. You are fast." Yeah. I mean, I don't think the coaching is making that speed that he has, and just that element of he can pass, he can run extremely well.
Can you imagine if he had started, like, he's already the league leader by a substantial amount. If he had started all the games, they'd still be undefeated, and he would have way better stats than he currently does. I'm sorry. I still think he's the best player in the league. And I think he'll be on an NFL training camp in July. So, okay. What about the total? CJ, you like anything total wise here?
I mean, you got Birmingham's been playing to the overs. Their offense is clicking, and I don't know. I think it's rally time from Memphis. I don't really like anything. I would lean under, but just with the league the way that goes with 43, I don't know. I think Memphis has to keep it under if they want any chance of winning this game. They can't be. They don't have enough talent to shoot it out with them. That's for sure. But they do have the defense to make this to a slower crawl pace. So yeah, I lean under if I'm taking the points, which I am with Memphis. Not on crack. Give me all the points. Sprinkle the money line. I'm not saying ride or die with it, but so yeah, I'm leaning under. I think it's just going to be I think a lot of these games are going to be sleepy type games. Like it's a middle sandwich. It's a look ahead and a letdown from last week.
Yeah. J Mark, what do you think of the total?
I'm going to ride with the over, just comparing it to Michigan's game, which did hit the over against the Showboats. I think the Stallions will be able to put up more points, and the Showboats are going to be able to put up some points. So I like the over. Yeah.
And Sam, you said agreed Mago is a better player than Martinez because he played in the NFL last year. Well, Adrian Martinez was in college, right? It's like he didn't have the freedom. Was he in college 2 years ago? Might have been 2 years ago, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe he was on the on an NFL training camp roster. Was he?
But he was in college.
Was he last year?
Years.
Yeah, he wasn't. That's the problem with college these days. With the COVID year, you get like a 12-year fucking college term now.
Problem with college these days.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, Will Howard was the starting quarterback at K-State, so it was 2 years ago.
All right.
Interesting. But yeah, he's still not better. Look at the rushing stats. Look at the fucking rushing stats. He's the league's leading rusher, and he's also passing the ball pretty damn well. I lean under. I just don't think Memphis can score any points against that defensive line. Do we know if Cookus is going to start?
I've not seen yet.
Because if he doesn't start, I think it's even worse. for them. So yeah, I'll lay the number with Birmingham. I'm not worried about a look ahead spot. Skip Holtz has these guys focused, and I actually think that's one edge of the quarterback battle. If he's not going to play Martinez and play Corral, it's like he just saw Martinez dominate the past 2 starts. So got that competitive edge of like, hey, we got to fucking put it on there, providing it's not a monsoon. So I'll lay it. Houston. After that, the Roughnecks heading to the Battle Dome to take on the St. Louis Battlehawks. 12.5 is currently the line. That's just a gigantic fucking number in this league. Look, I think St. Louis is winning this game, but if I'm looking for a dog to cover, well, I think Reed Sinnett can do enough. I think he can do enough to cover this one. So I'll take the 12.5 with the Roughnecks. The Battlehawks win by 9, by 10, by 7, something like that. I also like the under in this 47.5. CJ, what are you doing here?
Just like the last game, I'm definitely taking the 12.5 points with Houston. Marcus Thompson calling it out, on Twitter, putting on blast. Give me the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's get back to basics.
Problem is Curtis Johnson doesn't have Twitter.
I do think he would respond to that, though. I mean, Curtis Johnson, if anything, will stubbornly hand the ball off. I think if he needs to be and listen to.
Well, if they want any chance of winning this game, Thompson's got a point. You have to control the clock. The St. Louis Battlehawks offense is too explosive. You have to really give. Well, I don't understand. Houston's the worst coach team.
I mean, it's tough. St. Louis at home, obviously they look. But you're getting them at their peak value, 12.5, and especially in this league, the back door is just open. I think the back door will be open for both these games. And I'm also sprinkled on the money line. And this is where I am on crack mark B. You parlay both of those guys, and now you're looking at a $10 bet brings you 362, buddy, 36-1, just for 2 games to happen. Come on, this easily can happen.
There you go.
And to be fair, and just like I was saying, with the motivation's different for a Houston team and a St. Louis team. Houston still thinks they can make the playoffs. That's what they're saying, but they know they have to get, they can't, but they have to get going right now. And St. Louis just, they had their double revenge game last week versus DC, and they got the look ahead spot. Do they play Birmingham next week? Is that right?
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic sandwich look ahead.
A little Marion Barry parlay,
Mm-hmm.
Get that crack parlay with the prostitutes. Let's go. CJ, Jesus. J Mark, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so I was on the H-Town Pick'em show with Coach Kovo last night. Big Roughnecks fans.
Yeah, and shout out to that show.
Yeah, they all expected me, I think, to probably pick the Battlehawks. But I'm on Houston too. I think, that win at Audi Field, that was an emotional one for them. That was like a revenge tour. Now looking forward to the Stallions. I think this is just catching them at a bad spot. This number's inflated because the Roughnecks just got destroyed by Birmingham. Battlehawks just destroyed DC, inflates the number some. I think it's a 10-point game. Like you said, Colby, I think Battlehawks win, but I think it's a 10-point game, and that's that. I don't think they're getting to the 12.5 cover. So I'm on the Roughnecks here.
What do you think about that total? I'm going under.
Yeah, I like that too. Houston's slowly getting better too, I think, also week by week. Like I said, I'm not going to punish them for losing to Birmingham the way they did, best team versus worst team, whatever. But with Marcus Thompson back, they're playing decenter brand of football than when they were earlier on. 47, easily the total high, 47.5 now, easily the highest total of the weekend. And of course, the way St. Louis's offense looks, but their St. Louis's defense is actually the thing no one really wants to talk about. They've been playing a lot better, and they shut the DC down that second half. And I think Houston will try to run the ball and slow it because they're just like Memphis. That's the only way they have a chance to win, is take the air out of the ball a little bit and don't let McCarron and all his receivers just light you up like they've been lighting everyone else up. So yeah, I like the 47 and I like the points.
The under 47.
Yeah. Under and 12. It's correlated. If you like St. Louis to cover you, I think you have to go with the over. Right. I don't know what we're saying. What a fucking episode this is.
Folks, you're listening to the UFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And right now, it's all about the playoffs, as obviously the UFL playoff race is heating up. But right now, there's other playoffs going on right now, the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. So get on over and check out the NBA Gambling Podcast and the Hockey Gambling Podcast for episodes to get you locked in on all the exciting playoff action. Plus, it's Derby week on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Tune in as the guys get ready for the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Check it all out. We're also brought to you by NYRA. Yes, bet the run of the roses with NYRA. Bet. Score big on the Kentucky Derby with a double dose of reward. Sign up today for a $25 free bet and a $200 deposit bonus with the promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. Need more? Bet Kentucky Oaks Day with a $30 bonus. Opt in and bet at least $150 each on on Belmont at Big A and Churchill Downs. $30 win or lose. Get on over there. NYRA bets everything you need to bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports with confidence. For expert picks, betting insights, promotion, and more, visit nyrabets.com and make sure to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit bonus at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. All right, we're back on the UFL Gambling Podcast. We're firing away smooth as silk with this episode. And now, I appreciate just 4 games on at different times.
No night games by the way this weekend either.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to avoid the Kentucky Derby. Would that be
Derby?
Yeah, I don't know.
Playoffs, I would say the playoffs.
Yeah.
Derby's in the day.
Doesn't say didn't care about March Madness or the NFL draft, but the Derby.
They know their fan. They know their fan base for sure.
Yeah. UFL Jeff's like, horse racing was huge in the 50s. We should not go against it. The Arlington Renegades at 10 a.m. Pacific are heading into that filthy bullshit Ford Field. All right, and the word is after the Danny Etling and that the offense firing all cylinders, they're going to have 700 at the stadium instead of 500 this Sunday. And look, Michigan's laying 4. I'm never taking Arlington again. I'll tell you that right now. Etling in this offense, we're going to see Bryce Perkins, who also, by the way, back to our comment, he did start in the NFL. All right, Bryce Perkins did start in the NFL last year, right? Let's go. All right, give me was that last year or the year before? I can't even remember. I'm all over the Panthers here. I think this offense is flying, and I just, to me, Arlington's a team that quit. So I will lay the 4. I feel pretty good about this one. CJ, you?
Yeah, this almost seems too easy, to be honest with you. I don't. This is why I don't like this game. And when I saw it, I was like, I not think it was a misprint. But Michigan obviously should never be laying too big of a number with the way they. But things definitely changed for them with that link quarterback. I mean, they looked definitely more explosive than their running game was amazing because there was an actual threat of a forward pass. We had West Hills and Colburn, both. Do double-head attack, and with that defense, which is an actually legit top-tier defense against a Renegades team that, like you said, once something goes wrong, that's it. They fold up shop. They do not try to fight through anything and they have the talent.
The Renegades had, when we did preseason, I was like, they have one of the better rosters in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows in that St. Louis game. If that guy catches that touchdown, they probably win at St. Louis, but he dropped it, and then they missed a field goal, and the rest is history. But
yeah. For sure. Now, I did not put up J Mark accused me of put up a burner count to say, why are you pushing this USFL narrative? But if I was, I would say, I would set up that burner count to say, why is Colby keep pushing this Perkins narrative? He's ready to fucking bench. He's ready to bench Etling after his career game. Would have looked better. Now get Perkins in there for God's sakes.
Well, if you listen to the SGP show I did, we have a theory. Me and Sean Stack and the Money Green have a theory. That you want to get injured because your backup's always better. The coaching's so bad, that the backups, as you're seeing, like with EJ Perry, you're always one backup away from making a deep run. You're one injury away from having a successful season. You're 2 injuries away from winning the cup, the Freedom Cup there, the championship. So that's what I'm saying. They already got the EJ Perry one out. They look great. If Etling goes down, Perkins comes in, they win the UFL Freedom Cup. So
I like the theory. I like
You saw it with Dormandy. Does Dormandy look? Well, how many? We saw it last year in the XFL and the USFL. You know what I mean? These guys go down, and clearly these coaches don't know what the fuck they're doing. So the backups look way fucking better. We saw it. Who was starting? Was it Francois that was starting over Dormandy last year too?
They had a bunch of guys. Then there was a playbook scandal, right, where they're tipping off the other team, and it was a complete disaster. But no, I did not listen to the main show. I don't like them pilfering our talent and our UFL knowledge. I don't like you personally. I don't like you selling us out like that, Dundee. I like to keep it for the main show.
But my point makes sense.
This is the main show here, my friend.
My point makes sense.
The only show dedicated to UFL week in, week out, 2 episodes. We don't just dip our toe in the goddamn UFL pool and then slap our picks and tell, hey, look at me. I went 4-0. Go fuck yourself. We're about this life. We're about this spring ball life.
By the way, I will take the over on this 42. But I'm making a good point. You get your guys injured, you win games.
You are making a good point.
You get your guys injured, you win games.
Yeah, I do like the over as well. And this is where I'm going to give the official pick because it looks so easy. This is where I will listen to Double B saying I'm on crack. If you don't go to the wedding, you can't go to the funeral. Give me Arlington one more time. Plus the 4. I'll take the points. They're a winless team. They need to get the win. They're still eligible.
I don't get brain man.
Technically not eliminated from the playoffs yet. Things got to go their way, but it happened last year. One last time, one last chance, sweetness. Let's do it. Plus the 165, and wait till we get to the end when I really give you a Marion parlay.
J-Mark, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I flipped back and forth on this game, honestly, trying to decide. But then I remembered that Arlington has a terrible offensive line. Panthers have a good defensive front 7, and Luis Perez can't play under pressure. So give me the Panthers. I think they're going to stick a fork in the Renegades. Their season's done.
And they're back at that. They're back in the dome. The guy can make the 70-yarders. Didn't think about that, did you?
That's true. And the special teams was a disaster. There was the Tecmo Bowl jailbreak field goal blocks from fucking last week. I mean, Arlington is just an absolute mess. But they're in every one of these stupid games. Dude,
their roster's not that bad.
Right. There's not a game they have not been in, even though they are winless.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the formerly number 4 ranked power ranked team in this league, according to this UFL podcast.
You guys like the over though, right? Let's ride this over. I think that's the I actually like that better than the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
So ride that over. J-Mark, no?
He froze. Is he froze out? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when J-Mark's frozen or if that's just his normal,
can't tell if that's just his normal
his normal resting contemplating face. I like Charles Vatterot's comment here. He goes, "Can Curtis Johnson get injured now, please?" Like the who was that? The T-Wolves coach who got hurt the other day. Sideline. Let's set up a situation like that. Curtis Johnson is easily the worst coach in this league, but it's not even close. He's Hines Ward levels, you know.
I actually think that's really the difference. I don't think it's that the USFL, was that much. I mean, I think the difference is that there's coaching that has failed, in my opinion. Like for whatever reasons, I think having Mike Riley, who was a very experienced coach on like all levels, they got to find a way if they're going to expand or move or something. I think you get Mike Riley back involved. I know he's old, so. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to, or Bart Andrus. Those guys, I thought, really knew. I think they're better than some of the coaches we have in this league right now. But
we've heard from J-Mark. He says we need to get J-Mark a new computer GoFundMe, and he's on the under. He says
hashtag UFL Jeff sucks. And the final game is the Brahmas, San Antonio Brahmas heading to Audi Field. Brahmas laying 1.5. This is where you sell me. All right, I am gonna take the DC Defenders to get this done. Plus 105 on the money line right now. I don't like the way they've been controlling the beer snake there in DC, trying to put rules on it.
Not only that, but then they advertise like, "Hey, what's the best beer snake so far?" Like, shut up! These guys are trying to shut it down. They're trying to, curb our fun. They're trying to Nazi up the snake.
Yeah.
And now you can't just
you can't do that. Yeah. It's got to be organic. Why? You're a struggling fucking league. Let the fans build their own things organically.
Right.
You fucking losers. Charles says, Dormandy only dependable in a pussy dome. Thoughts? Yes, let's ride this. Look, they're not going to lose back to back at Aldi Field. The lemon party's going to be happening. And I think you've seen San Antonio you want to talk about it. To me, out of the whole league, the team who's got the most gimmick wins, it's been the Brahmas. Mm-hmm. And that comes to a screeching halt.
Yep.
In Washington, D.C., Sunday afternoon. You're with me?
Yep, switch the line there on the board. I agree. I think obviously I know why the line is like it is, but you're looking at DC getting points at home versus a fraud San Antonio team. Obviously it's not the same DC team from last year, but this is a prime spot, a bounce back after getting embarrassed versus St. Louis at home. The O-line was a mess. Much bigger, lower step in class coming down here. I'm seeing two, whatever. I like the money line. DC home outright win. You're not going to see a situation like this again where you're getting points at home. There's trouble there, but I trust them to can rally troops for this. This is a great buy low DC, sell high on San Antonio situation.
And what do you think of this total? I still think we go over.
Yep, you got to go over. Yeah. I don't agree with the Dormandy comments about being only in a pussy dome. Just because Dormandy was so well for us in Orlando. They're outside in Orlando, right? That beautiful situation out there.
Last year, yeah. They were there with Terrell Buckley.
Yeah, granted, it was perfect weather and all that, but I do believe Dormandy does fall apart. Okay, that's because that's what he does. He puts together some great games, and then he Dormandy's it. Although I'm a Dormandy fan, Tamu's not been the problem. Even those picks last week, two of them, one, the ball was in his receiver's hands, it tipped out, got picked. The other one, he was under pressure, got hit. Third one, it was there. He's trying to force the issue as they were getting crushed at the end. They've been moving the ball every week. Sometimes they get field goals. Sometimes they put points up. So I don't think Tamu is the problem. If anything, he's one of the only things they got going for him. But I think they get it together and they put up a big effort. And this is my everything. Money line plus 110, plus 105.
Get on in on that. Get on in on that.
You ready for this Marionberry? Well, this is more than a Marionberry. This is a complete skid row. This is the entire town of fucking downtown Vancouver, downtown, whatever. Everything Fox News says, hey, look at all these lib cities and how they're run. There's all these zombies on fentanyl. That's what this parlay is going to be. You money line. Listen to this one now. You money line all 4 dogs. This is worth a sprinkle. You see generous UFL guys, everyone out there who are fans of the show. You take a Memphis Showboat plus 550. Houston Roughnecks plus 500. Arlington plus 165. DC Defenders plus 105. A $10 bet, 14 money line dog parlay will get you $2,060 for crying out loud. I mean, why could you? Why not? Obviously Saturday's the heavy lifting. Once we get through there, we are easy crazy. So what was it? 206 to 1. I'm saying that's what that pays. Oh,
and Double B saying if that hits, you need to be investigated for inside trading.
I mean, in this league, nothing is. That's what I'm saying too, and that's another reason why it's not the craziest idea to throw a long shot like this. Because in this league, with these rules, we've seen how many games have we seen where the better team got absolutely robbed of a victory because the 4th and 12 onside, 3-point whatever the heck extra point. They're down 14, and all of a sudden they steal a win. With the momentum and the defense is tired out there with the onside kick. So you're always going to be, as long as they can stay within the 20-30 realm.
Let's talk about this. I think you're actually right. And we saw them manipulate a bullshit trade, gave it Luis Perez to the Renegades last year for a linebacker with 3 tackles, special teams linebacker. So look, but here's my point. This is why DC should be the lock. Because if the Brahmas win, there's really no point in week 6, 7. I'm sorry, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Right.
Because we pretty much have the playoffs figured out. You know what I mean? Like this is like the one game that matters this weekend.
Yeah.
Michigan can lose. It's technically, I guess Michigan hasn't clinched, but like, do you believe that Memphis or or Houston's going to show enough. I mean, Houston's got to play at St. Louis, so they're probably eliminated. And then Memphis would have to knock off Birmingham. I know you just talked about the money line there, but if I just think, they need DC to win this game to make the playoff race interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yes, put on your David Stern tinfoil hat. Let's make it happen there. Lock and dog. What's the game you feel absolute best about?
By the way, and now you're on board, Double B. I like it. Lock it in. Why not? Fuck him is right. Why not? Sprinkle a little $10 to win you 2,000. How can you not toss it in there? All right, lock and dog. Let's do it. Lock, I'm going to stay, even though he is a dog. I will lock up DC Defenders as my lock of the 4 games like that. And as for all the reasons we just went through all of it, and I think you might have put the best one out there. They need DC to be alive, and DC.
I'm still going Birmingham, but I think like, to me, I love a Birmingham DC parlay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. For my dog, I'm going to go Houston plus the 12.5. And I will be sprinkling a little bit of money long. Like I said, I think all these games, they're sandwich spots. The motivation might not be there, which is, silly to say for a league like UFL where they should be motivated every goddamn snap they're out there, because it's all an opportunity for them, and they are very hungry. And that's part of the fun. What makes this enjoyable.
But Arlington's quit the past 2 weeks. That's it's kind of defying that logic.
That's why I went to Houston. I'm not, I know. I mean, and Arlington's in a weird spot where they were, they're the champions. But they were a fraud champion, sure, but they did win the championship, so they had to let down. I do think they win, but I like taking the points. I'll take Houston, and I do think they have a chance to beat St. Louis, because I know St. Louis keeps improving, and they look great, and you can look silly fading them, but there's also an opportunity for them to keep this game close, and when it's close, and with these rules, who knows?
Yeah.
Hey, look what we got back here.
Yeah, my dog will be. I mean, I guess I have to say DC will be the dog, because I don't think Houston's going to win it outright. I will take DC. It's a short little yapper. Maybe how about this parlay? Houston, DC, Birmingham. There you go. Look, he's back. J Mark. He's been watching Position Impossible a little bit too many times on his computer. They got into the mainframe. Buddy, how you doing?
Oh, this fucking computer's going out the window, man.
Well, I'll keep you up to speed. I gave out a 200-1 bet for this weekend, so you missed out. So sorry you missed out.
I was listening as Double B said, "Bro, J Mart, get out of the chat and get back in the stream." J Mart,
I do like how J Mark, once he does get kicked off, or his computer crashes or whatever, he likes to go in the chat room to do a little investigating, a little snooping, see what see what people are saying about him.
Yeah, fucking right.
What's your lock and dog though, J Mark?
Yeah, I'm locking up the Stallions. I just think they're too good of a team, and my dog is DC.
So you're same as me, just copying my fucking picks. He's just
we're all on
my picks.
We're all on DC. What could possibly go wrong there?
Smashed. Let's go. Come on, Greg Williams.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time for the DFS lineup. But before we do that, folks, I want to tell you that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA playoffs are here, and our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pickup game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and much, much more. You can make entries of all basketball players if you wanted to in the NBA, or you can mix and match across other sports, which is a favorite of mine. And I love that they let you do that. A lot of places won't let you do that. And they have UFL action, folks. So you could take Adrian Martinez or Matt Corral, and mix that with whatever NBA player you like, or NHL player you like, or MLB. So they got all that action. You can win up to 100 times the amount of money you enter, and it's a ton of fun. Underdog is available in 30 different states, including California and Texas, and the great country of Canada. So hop on over there. Make sure you sign up. And when you sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back and ready for DFS. I know I'm taking home some serious cash this week. I just know it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you said that before.
Yeah, but I've always I'm always making money. All right. Well, I might be spending money, but I'm making money too. It's not like I'm doing zeros over here. I went with the legendary Danny Etling. I may be hoping for an injury, but in the meantime, when he's playing healthy, he's going to be firing the ball downfield to Cole Hicatini and those explosive wideouts that they've never had. So I like at 8,800 Danny Etling against, we know, a horrible Arlington defense. So sign me up. Who's coming with me?
I looked at him. I'll give you that. I did look at him. Gave him a look. They run the ball a little too much for me, Michigan, and their defense. I like it for sure. He's definitely under consideration, but I stepped out a little bit, and I think there might be something here, like I said, with the taking a passing attack against the team playing Birmingham, because you're going to catch up mode immediately. I know with the receiver, we had Justin Hall last week, had 14 targets, 93 yards. So I want to look for a hook up there. I know you shit on Troy Williams, but he did throw for 48 yards last week and 3 touchdowns coming in there in a relief mode. So, and they were also down. Game script will be down with Memphis, even though I sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think Memphis comes out. If anything, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot, no matter what. So for 8,600, Troy Williams, see if he can. At least he pushes the ball downfield. He only completed half his balls last week, but he makes attempts at least. Yeah, that's all I want, and that's what I'm looking for in this league with the quarterbacks. Will they take shots? Will they push it forward? Get that average up there. And 248 yards. That's one of the best performances of the season of any quarterback in this league.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I just think the Stallions defense a little too much.
I know. We all know what everyone thinks about the goddamn Stallions. They're the best team. They flex their muscles. You can't do anything against the almighty Stallions.
Stallions are going to get after it. All right.
It's fine, but this is
they were like a hobo on a ham sandwich. They were going hard.
All right.
This is daily fantasy, not daily reality. All right.
J-Mar, what are you doing at the quarterback spot?
Yeah, I went super chalk here, even though it kind of affects the rest of my lineup because he's $11,000. But when Adrian Martinez isn't playing, he puts up the most points as quarterback, AJ McCarron.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that.
AJ McCarron at home versus Houston. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
For running back, this guy treated me well last week. John Lovett, the former Baylor Bear, at 7,700. I loaded up on him, even though San Antonio, I wish they would run a little bit more, but they also throw some little dinky dunky stuff to the running backs. So I'm going to load up 7,700 for John Lovett. At CJ, what'd you do with the running back spot?
I went with, looks like me and Double B are in cahoots again. I went Marcus Thompson. Called him out on Twitter. This is his week. He's going to get the ball. They have to. It's just out of necessity. If they want, like we said, any chance of winning the game, and when he's out there and he's performing, he is better than anybody on the field. He is a game changer.
They asked Mark Thompson about his thoughts on Curtis Johnson, and he said,
"They deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell."
Man, that's why I love this league. They just let it fly with these quotes. So at 8,200, give me Marcus Thompson.
I like how he's going Marcus Thompson.
I like how Marcus.
Yeah. Right?
Marcus.
Yeah, there you go. Where you going at the running back spot there, J Mark?
Yeah, I'm sure we haven't seen an injury report, but do we know if that tight end is back? Because that was Curtis Johnson's reason for why they stopped running the ball. Their blocking tight end got hurt. That was his reasoning for it. Oh, our blocking tight end got hurt, and we were also way behind, so we stopped running the ball. I'm with you, Colby, with Lovett. 13 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. I think he's really getting going now. He's their featured back now, so I like that a lot.
Any fears of Morgan Ellison cracking into that? He looked like the better back, to be honest with you. I mean, Lovett looked good and all, but Ellison looked more explosive, if you ask me. 7 for 84 that you have?
Not worried. We both rostered up John Lovett, and they signed Jaden DeLora, the former Washington State Cougar and Arizona Wildcat, but I don't think he'll be ready to play, but interesting signing. Top wide receiver. I went with the likes of Ja'Cour Pearson. When he's at home in that Battle Dome, I like to roster him, especially in a game like this where I feel like he's almost unguardable in the slot. So Ja'Cory Pearson at 9,200. CJ, who's your top wideout?
I also have Ja'Cory Pearson. You can play that music.
Let's go.
It's between him and Hakeem Butler, but I'm not going to chase Butler's numbers from last week. The Cyclone, God bless him, he's great. But you got to zig and zag with that. They have so many weapons. I imagine they will and spread it around a little bit. And yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with any of those guys. Although you could have last week because it was only Butler getting the numbers. That's why I think
on that. I thought Greg Williams would slow down Pearson.
Okay,
I was on that a little bit where I thought he could. Now you get him back at the Battle Dome.
Right.
I actually think the slot's probably the hardest to guard. You know, for most of these defenses. So,
yeah.
J Mark.
Yeah, triple it. I'm on Pearson as well.
Let's go. All right, I'll give you my second receiver, and that is the likes of Deon Cain. Look, when Corral's in, I actually think he throws to Cain more. So I look to fade Cain when Martinez is there, when Corral is there. Let me load up on some Deon Cain at the Liberty Bowl at 7,400 loaded up. CJ, I know you've had a history of playing Deon Cain. Did you roster him?
Yeah, I started as Deon Cain train, if you will, and but I did not roster him this week. As far as receivers go, I think I did the hookup. If I'm going Troy Williams, and I'm going David Davis. He only had 16 targets last week. I'll say that one more time. 16 targets. So we're talking fantasy, talking about the game script of having to throw. Imagine how he's doing it if they're playing Birmingham when they're down 20 earlier on than they were last week. So 16 targets. How he only got 6 for 101 yards with an 80-yard touchdown and stuck in there is beyond me. One of the most stupefying statistics. But he's been doing this every week. He's their clear number one guy, David Davis. He fills the stat line every single week. So in a game where I expect them to have to throw the ball for about 80% of the game, give me the hookup. I'm going Williams. Like I said, if you go to the wedding, you got to go to the funeral. Give me Williams and give me David Davis. 7,300, reasonably priced for a guy who's going to put up a lot of garbage numbers in fantasy.
Not bad, because if they're getting blown out the way I think they could.
Yeah.
And it's logical. It's very logical. J Mark, what are you doing with your second highest price wideout?
Yeah, I'm right there with CJ. I mean, David Davis looked good when EJ Perry, he had a decent start and he had double-digit fantasy points. Then EJ Perry fell off the cliff. They throw Williams in there and he gets 24.1 points. So not EJ Perry.
Etling?
Cookes. Sorry.
Oh,
Cookes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Right
idea, wrong person.
Yeah.
Same bullshit quarterback.
Yeah. So my top flex. Son of Richard Roundtree, Larry Roundtree. You gotta go, Larry Roundtree. This guy showed to me. You want to talk about showing some pop, and they adjusted Ricky Person Jr.'s price, so I'm off Ricky Person Jr. Give me Larry Roundtree at $6K, all over that showboat defense. Let's go. CJ, did you go with Mr. Roundtree? Yeah.
Play the music. Play the music. I also have Roundtree.
Let's fucking go. He's undervalued.
Yeah, 9 for 50 and a touchdown, and the second back on this offense is very valuable because of the leads they're getting, and now with the injury, and they put him out there. It was like a sighting, and he looked good. He looked so much to say that I bet he could steal carries as the RB1. I can see this being like more of a 50-50 split. So 6,000, yeah, get him while this price is cheap right now.
J Mark,
is Marable out?
As far as I know.
I thought he was out for the year, wasn't he?
Yeah. I thought he was too, but now they're not showing him on injured reserve anymore on the app. So I was a little confused there on whether
is Roundtree on the roster?
Well, did
they cut him?
Well, I was just curious. I don't know if Marable's playing. If he's not, I definitely thought about Roundtree, but it gave me some pause, so I went with Colburn.
But wait, if you're Birmingham, wouldn't you keep Marable? Why would you play him this week? Wouldn't you keep him for the Battlehawk game?
I mean, you would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that pick, but I ended up going with Colburn. I think, Michigan's running the ball well now that they, like CJ said, now that they have a quarterback that can throw it down the field, their running backs are getting going. So I went with Matt Colburn. He's 6,500, and Arlington's 7th worst against the run.
I like that. The former Demon Deke. My second flex, he got 9 targets last week. Kiki Chisholm at 5,200. Reed Sinnott, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to my plan would be to run the ball, but I don't count on Curtis Johnson. That's the reason why I didn't put Mark Thompson on my roster. Mm-hmm. I don't think Curtis Johnson's going to load up on the run. I think they're going to play their game, and that's terrible for Roughneck fans, but they're going to play their game. Chisholm will get another 8-9 targets and maybe even a score. Let's go. CJ, who'd you have as your second flex?
Last is our last player, right?
Besides defense, yes.
Yeah, besides defense. I got Javonte Payton over at Arlington. Speaking of targets, he had 9 targets last week. He had a nice number of 7 for 119 and a touchdown. Luis Perez leads the league in passing yards. That offense came through. I know Michigan, obviously, good defense, or it's in Michigan, which I think they played every single game at home, it seems like, in Michigan. But yeah, I mean, it'll be a battle. Like I said, like we all like the over in this game a little bit. I think it'll be more opened up, especially these games now, and they got nothing to lose. They have to go for it. So Javonte Payton at a reasonably priced $6,200.
Yes. Former Mike Leach wide out there. Rest in peace to the great Coach Leach. J Mark second and flex or final guy besides defense.
Yeah, so I was down to 4,500, so I kind of had to dig a little deep. But every time I watch this guy, I feel like he's very close to having a return touchdown. So playing off that a little bit, and he had a down week last week, but the week before that and 3 weeks ago, he had a touchdown. So give me Chris Rowland of the DC Defenders, 4,500, and this is a must-win game for them. So I think everybody's going to be pulling their weight
for the league, too.
For the league too. I think the offense is going to finally look a little bit more like what we saw last year. They're going to get going. So yeah, give me Chris Rowland.
I like that play because I think there's value in those DC receivers as well, because when they run, they don't know, it's someone different each week, and they don't know who it's going to be. They don't have anything consistent, and they're all down those bargain bin prices.
Yeah, that's fair. For defense, I loaded up with the Stallions because I think the Memphis offensive line is horrible. So I had the 5K to do it. I just think they're going to get sacks and create turnovers, and that's what you want. So CJ, what'd you go with the defensive side of the ball?
I went pretty cheap. I was eyeing up Michigan. I could have afforded. I mean, it seems like the logical play. Michigan are right in the middle of the pack at 4,600 versus Arlington at home. But you know what? Let's go with it. We got our dog. We got our lock. We're all on board with this DC game. $3,800. Let's fucking Greg Williams is trying to have to unleash hell on Dormandy outside. I think this is going to be a bad Dormandy game. And it's definitely an opportunity for it. So at 3,800, DC at home, let up the beer snake. They've ample opportunity for not only just turnovers, but scoring on those opportunities too. So they have a high ceiling with that defense, even though it's bad. I know they let up a lot of points, but I think it's gonna be a different DC defender game this week. So might as well get to go all in all.
I feel like they gamble almost more than any defense. So sometimes that can pay off. J Mark, what are you doing on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, right there with CJ, kind of playing off of Chris Rowland too, perhaps a return touchdown to get some points. They looked decent in the second half against St. Louis until they started having a lot of turnovers by Tamu. But when he stopped blitzing and so much, they looked better, actually. I don't think they have a defense that can blitz all the time and still cover everybody. But, this team is going to win based off their defense, I think. We saw last year, they were such a dominant defense. I think they're going to get back to that a little bit because they're not going to lose 2 in a row at Audi Field. So, yeah, give me DC.
I like it. All right, folks. Well, we'll see you. Remember, you can come play DFS with us. We'll tweet it out from at UFL Gambling Pod on Twitter. Play against us, but also, obviously jump in those big ones. I throw a $20 entry out there. I get a little crazy. All right. And yeah, check out the UFL Gambling Podcast. Check out the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. You give J Mark a follow on Twitter at JMarkFootball. That's a great listen to. And what do you got scheduled coming up, J Mark?
Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about winners and losers from this draft, fantasy football wise anyways.
There you go. Also, check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. CJ Sullivan is on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. The Bet Detective, give him a follow. And CJ, you doing any other shows around town, or you got what are you doing on the pod?
Well, I got a Bottom Line Bombs coming up right after this. In about 20, 30 minutes, I'll be giving out my Derby glue factory bombs for that. I'll have I like getting involved with the ponies, and so yeah, I got to make Kentucky Derby and a weekend NBA.
You dress up for the Derby, like you know.
I don't put the flower hat on, if that's what you're asking. I don't put on the seersucker when I'm not drinking any mint juleps. But I let them know what kind of guy I am for sure.
Right on. Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, part of the C Block, coming up next. Also, I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD, the college football experience and the FCS college football experience, dropping episodes left and right. We also have the CFL Gambling Podcast starting up very, very shortly. Also, check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as well. They are live on VSiN tomorrow night, 6 p.m. VSiN is sports Brent Musburger's network there. Check it all out, folks. Until next time, this is the UFL Gambling Podcast. Have a wonderful weekend. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.